Hello, my name is Anna, and I'm going to discuss the importance of advocacy in the social work profession. Also, I will be providing an example of how I've worked closely with the advocacy department in an inpatient psychiatric hospital. Advocacy is vital in the social work profession. I believe the majority of work in the social work profession entails working with vulnerable population. Therefore, advocacy involves bringing awareness and educating on behalf of these vulnerable populations and communities. Additionally, I believe there are important skills that social workers need to have to be an effective advocator for vulnerable populations. I believe these skills are being aware of community resources, active listening, having compassion, just to name a few. I believe that advocacy helps to improve advocacy helps to empower vulnerable populations and helps to build stronger communities. An example that I have of how I work closely with an advocacy department is in my previous position. I worked in a psychiatric inpatient hospital. I was a social worker on a multidisciplinary team. The team, we met on a weekly basis with clients. We were responsible for reviewing and discussing clients' treatment progress, reviewing any issues or concerns that the clients may have. Well, there was this one particular client who we were preparing for discharge, and we had selected a place for him based upon his needs. Well, the client was not satisfied with the team's decision. That client wrote a grievance. He wrote a grievance to the advocacy office because he wanted to go to, he had selected a different place. So he had wrote a grievance to the advocacy department. So an advocacy rep came and met with the client and to discuss, to hear his point of view. Not to say that the team hadn't heard his point of view, but the advocacy representative heard his point of view. And so after the advocacy representative met with the client, the recovery team, the advocacy rep, and the client, we all had a meeting. The advocacy rep was obviously there to represent the client. And so we met and we reviewed and discussed the case again. The advocacy rep spoke on behalf of the patient, and we all decided after really meeting and referring the client to the psychiatrist, it was deemed that the client was able to have the ability to make decisions on his own or was competent to make decisions on his own. Therefore, it was approved for him to be discharged to the placement of his choice. As a social worker, I was able to, because I wanted to make sure that in case of an emergency, that he was aware of his community resources. So I provided him with a list of his community resources that he would have just in case if he needed food, clothing, or emergency shelter. So this is my take on what advocacy mean in social work. So thank you for your time.